Welcome to Pets in Paradise TV, the show that explores the relationship between humans and animals in one of the most beautiful places on Earth, Hawaii. Here's what's coming up in the next half hour. We'll learn about the pit bull and why they don't deserve the bad rap they get.
They historically are extremely good family dogs.
Then, what to do if your dog gets bitten by a bug.
We do see centipede bites, scorpion bites, even certain spider bites like brown recluse spiders. It's pretty hard to tell what the bite is or what caused the bite when you look at it.
It happens more often than you think. Find out why Dalmatians are known as firefighter dogs. Plus, we'll witness how one lucky rooster gets a second chance at life.
He either had to be put down or get his legs fixed up.
It's all ahead on Pets in Paradise TV. With muscular, stocky frames, large heads, and what can sometimes be a fierce-looking face, pit bulls have a reputation of being the tough and sometimes bad guy in the canine world. But it wasn't always that way.
They historically are extremely good family dogs. They are loving, they're devoted, they're intelligent, they're very protective of their family and even children.
Who can deny the looks of a bull breed of any kind? They're the take no flack, I'm in charge, the world belongs to me, thanks for coming line of dogs.
It's a breed with a dark past. A cross between a bulldog and a terrier, pit bulls were initially bred to fight. The pups were used for blood sports like bull and bear baiting, then later in dog fights. But that was ages ago. Since the early 1900s, pit bulls have been welcomed into homes as family dogs.
They look scary, but they're actually really friendly.
Pit bulls are important to me because it's my family pet and they love my children, and it's not the breed, it's how you bring them up.
Just like humans, pit bulls, and any dog for that matter, need love and affection from an early age. And like humans, must be taught right from wrong.
Any dog can be trained or raised in an unsuitable environment that can bring out the worst in them. So pit bulls, it doesn't matter what the breed. You got little Cocker Spaniels that can be raised as killers. It's their environment and the people that are training them to do that job.
The love for pit bulls has grown so great over the years that some enthusiasts started their own dog breeder club called the American Bully Kennel Club, or ABKC. It came up with the standards of what makes an ideal pit bull.
When I'm judging, what I look for is nice size head pieces, bullier bodies. They tend to be a little bit wider, good top line, good angulation, good tails, good bite. Dogs have to be socialized. If a dog is human aggressive, they will be automatically excused.
Not only have pit bull lovers started their own club, but some have started their own breeds of so-called bullies.
Bully is shorter, wider, compactor dogs with bigger head, great structure, great muscle tone.
While they're bred to look mean, these dogs are nurtured and raised to be friendly. However, some people can't get past the looks or the dog's reputation and have actually tried to ban the dogs.
They want to take away our pit bulls from the island.
There is a bill SB 79, which is under trying to ban the pit bull breed from Hawaii.
We love pit bulls.
That measure didn't get far and never became law. Not only was there a lot of opposition from the public, getting rid of the dog breed out of Hawaii entirely would have been incredibly difficult.
As a police officer, if we don't have the training to distinguish the breeds, it would be unfair to take someone's family member or someone's pet and maybe they don't have 1 ounce of blood of pit bull.
The other thing giving pit bulls a bad rap is their bite. Some people believe if you get close to one, the dog will start biting, its jaw locking shut so you can't get away. This is completely false.
Not all pit bulls are raised to be fighting dogs, aggression. Our dogs are raised around our kids, our family. Our 3-year-old daughter could basically walk Rockefeller to the kennel.
So while they may purposely look like mean, rough, tough guys, behind their outward appearance, pit bulls are just like any other dog. They just want to love and be loved in return. It seems only natural to give a cat milk, but you often hear that it's not a good idea. So which is it? The answer is probably not. The problem is lactose. Just as many humans are lactose intolerant, many cats are too. It seems that kittens can tolerate lactose just fine, but not as much as they grow older. Milk can cause upset stomachs, vomiting, and diarrhea. What cats do need, though, is plenty of water to prevent urinary and bladder infections. Playing outdoors is something all dogs love to do. From running in the grass to just sniffing around, it's what makes dogs, well, dogs. But this love of nature can put dogs at risk. The outdoors is home to many creatures, including insects. In this episode, we look at insect bites, how you can treat them, and the serious symptoms you need to look out for.
Bee stings, the most common things we'll see is the dogs will want to eat a bee, so they typically will have a swollen face. You know, they'll look like their eyes are all puffy and stuff. The areas around their face swell up. And that's the usual symptoms of a bee sting.
First thing you should know about insect bites is that they are common. And as you might guess, some types of bites are more likely to happen than others. Swelling is just one of the reactions a dog can have after being bitten or stung. Many symptoms show up within minutes of the bite. However, others could take a full day or sometimes even longer to develop.
This is Veda, and one day at the park she got bit by either a bee or a centipede. We took her to the vet right away because she's got all swollen and got welts all over her. They gave her a couple of shots, Benadryl and something else, and she was pretty much better in an hour.
Other types of insects can also cause problems. We do see centipede bites, scorpion bites, even certain spider bites like brown recluse spiders. It's pretty hard to tell what the bite is or what caused the bite when you look at it, but sometimes the other insect bites will cause redness, even turning blue kind of looking color would tell us that perhaps the skin is starting to necrose or die, because some of the toxins that some of these insects, when they bite, can cause death of the tissue, and that can cause a chunk of skin to actually turn blue and actually die. And so we have to be very aggressive about treating some of those.
Because of the wide range of effects insect bites can have, it's important to know how to deal with this pesky situation and how to treat your pet properly. In some cases, the reactions may be so bad surgery is needed. Other times, the symptoms are mild, only causing inflammation and some pain.
We treat them with pain medications. We usually will also put the dogs on antibiotics for that.
If your dog does get bit or stung and you don't see any severe reactions, here are some tips to help your pet feel better. For bug stings, apply aloe vera gel to help soothe pain and burning. For bumps and sores, gently apply a mix of baking soda and water several times a day until the bumps go away. In more severe cases, doctors suggest you use over-the-counter Benadryl.
Breathing issues are fairly rare, although you will also see vomiting, because when the release of histamine from the insect bite and the reaction stimulates the vomiting centers of the brain.
Now you have a few tips to minimize the pain the next time your pup has an unfriendly encounter with a bug. And if you're ever unsure what to do, don't hesitate to call your vet. This is Hoku. He's a great runner. He loves to swim, and he's got a beautiful brindle-colored coat. Can you guess what breed he is? If you guess that Hoku is a mixed breed, you're right. He's actually a mix of 3 different breeds: Labrador Retriever, Greyhound, and American Pit Terrier. That accounts for his love of swimming, running, and his unique markings. Here's another dog that has very familiar markings. Today on It's All About the Breed, it's all about the Dalmatian. The first question most people have about the Dalmatian is, why is it always seen in fire trucks? Then the following question, why does it have those spots? Let's start with the fire truck. Dalmatians were first used to clear the way for horses that pulled the fire wagons. They were great with horses and ran alongside them for miles or ran under the carriage of the wagon. After horses were no longer used, Dalmatians were kept as mascots, a role that has stuck with them to this day. They're still considered the firehouse dog. Dalmatians in history date back to the 1700s. Although they were originally bred in England, they originated in Croatia, in a historic district called Dalmatia, where they were used as companions to nomadic tribes and as guard dogs. That characteristic follows them to this day. Dalmatians are still used as guard dogs and are very loyal to their owners and somewhat distrustful of strangers. We're all familiar as well with the Dalmatian as the star of popular books and movies. Dalmatians are fairly large dogs that grow to about 55 pounds, both male and female. Their lifespan is about 10 to 12 years. Litters can be big. It's not unusual for a Dalmatian to have up to 15 pups in a litter. Puppies are born without spots, but they start showing at about 3 weeks, and after a month they've usually got all their spots. The spots, by the way, are usually black or brown, and their coats are usually white, although they sometimes come in blue, brindle, or tricolored. Their coats are short, fine, and smooth. They tend to shed all year long, and their hair is stiff and often hard to get out of carpet, upholstery, and clothing. They need to be brushed at least weekly to reduce the amount of shedding. A good feature about their coat, though, is that they don't have that dog smell. That's because their coats have only a minimal amount of oil, which is what causes the dog smell. As for health issues, Dalmatians are a relatively healthy breed, but do have a tendency toward deafness, allergies, and urinary stones. Hip dysplasia isn't much of a problem with Dalmatians. Thinking back to when Dalmatians were used to run alongside fire wagons, they possessed, and still do, a high level of energy and stamina. That means they need lots of exercise. As puppies, they are very energetic and need lots of leadership and exercise. It's believed that up to half of the people who adopt Dalmatian puppies don't keep them past the first year. It's so much work. But those who stick it out through those hyperactive days end up with a very loyal, obedient, and trustworthy dog. And now you know all about the Dalmatian. You always hear that you shouldn't give a dog a chicken bone. Is that really something to worry about, or is it an old wives' tale? It turns out that chicken bones are bad for your dog. But it's not just chicken bones. The Food and Drug Administration says there are 10 reasons you shouldn't give any bones to dogs, including broken teeth, mouth and tongue injuries, bones getting stuck in the esophagus, the stomach or intestines, and causing internal bleeding. The FDA says it's a better idea to buy chew toys and play it safe. Hawaii has a significant feral chicken population, and one of those chickens is a rooster named Bruce. Unfortunately, Bruce got into some trouble and hurt his leg. But thanks to some human and canine help, Bruce turns out to be one lucky rooster. In this story, we'll follow Bruce through his diagnosis, his surgery, and his recovery.
2 weeks ago or so, Daisy, who lives here at the nursery, she's a small pit bull mix, she found Bruce down in the road in the bushes, and turns out he has a broken leg.
It's not clear how Bruce received the injury to his leg. A lot of times, feral chickens are hit by cars, the victims of dog attacks, or by people trying to kill them.
So at first, he could barely stand up. We took him to the vet because we weren't sure what to do, and she told us that he either had to be put down or get his legs fixed up, or else he wouldn't be able to really limp around at all. And since he's a feral chicken, we thought, well, we'll see what happens, see if he gets better. He did get a little better, but his leg isn't going to be better.
Wanting to do the right thing, Emily and her friends sought help from a local bird group and collected donations. Enough money to get the surgery that Bruce needed to fix his leg and be able to survive. Which leads us to Dr. Walsh at Feather and Fur, an animal hospital in Kailua, Oahu, that specializes in treating birds of all kinds.
So today we'll be working on Bruce, who's a wild chicken that was hanging out at an orchard and was rescued by one of the people who worked there and had known him for most of his life. He apparently got shot by a pellet and had his leg broken. So we're going to try and fix his leg today. All right, we're gonna give Bruce some butorphanol and midazolam to help cover for pain and make him less anxious for the procedure. So we're going to inject this into his pectoral muscle.
So Bruce is getting a little sleepy. He's closing his eyes, starting to bend his knees down a little bit, getting into a hunch. So pretty soon he should be fully sedated and we'll start surgery.
Birds are much more delicate than mammals, so when it comes to anesthesia, it's more difficult to sedate birds, and different methods and drugs are used than are used with mammals. Sadly, even with the best anesthetics, they often don't make it through surgery.
This x-ray shows Bruce's fracture. Essentially, this bone piece should connect to that piece, and instead it's displaced over here. It should look just like this bone right here. If you imagine this is the break, right now the two bones are sitting like this. So what we're gonna have to do is break down some of the scar tissue and try and realign the bones. But because this is an old fracture, we may not be successful in doing that. If we are, then we're gonna use a pin that we're gonna put inside the bone to help stabilize it and keep it in its proper position.
The delicate surgery is over, but Bruce isn't out of the woods yet. He'll be kept in a warm chamber while the sedation wears off. He'll be monitored for any signs of trouble until he wakes up and is able to stand on his own.
He's starting to wake up a little bit more. He's getting more stable and more alert, so I'm happy with how he's progressing. So we're gonna just set you back down here, buddy. Keep resting. So it's the day after Bruce's surgery, and we're gonna check him out and see how he's doing today. He's holding his leg much more comfortably, so we're gonna take a look at him and see how it's looking. All right, so his incision looks pretty good. It's got some bruising like as expected, but the leg is holding it nice and steady in place, so we're happy with how he's doing. All right, so we can see he's still a little bit sensitive, but he's able to put some weight on his leg now, so we're happy with how he's progressing. And hopefully, if he continues to heal up, he'll be walking really well in a couple weeks and be able to have increased activity in a month.
A month has gone by, and Bruce is now ready for the move to his new home and family on the windward side of Oahu. Le Jardin Academy has a garden where students are taught organic farming. This beautiful garden is what Bruce will now call home, and where he'll live out his life.
Okay, this is actually a dog kennel. So it's built to keep in rather large dogs. So I think it should be able to hold Bruce the rooster all right. And it's got just a netting on the top so the birds don't get in and eat his feed.
So we've had Bruce since the end of July when we found him. We've been taking care of him at my house and at the plant nursery I work at. He did really well. He got better from his leg surgery. But then a couple weeks ago he got an infection, so we had to get him well again. But now finally he's set to go to his new home. Bruce has a good view of some chicks over here, and there's some hens over there.
So, oh, he's getting quite excited. He's listening to the talk of lunch. So, he'll just live out his time down here.
So I guess this is the end of the journey for me and Bruce. Hopefully he'll live here forever. This is his retirement home. So I'll just come visit him occasionally and see how he's doing.